In other news, another legal, weird, horrible Republican news, Christopher Hasson, the Coast Guard lieutenant who had a kill list of journalists, Democratic members of Congress, and other prominent Democrats in this country, is not going to be charged with terrorism. Earlier this week, prosecutors came out. They had used the word terrorism repeatedly, but when in court, he is not being charged with terrorism. In fact, the charges against him are really, really pathetic when you think about it. Drugs and weapons charges is what they're getting him on. Drugs and weapons charges. The man had an obsession with neo-Nazis. We know that from his search histories. He was actively plotting to assassinate political leaders. We know that through his search histories, looking up where they hang out, what kind of security details they have, where they live. He had the weapons to carry this out. He wanted to murder people. And you're bringing him up on drugs and weapon charges. He was radicalized by right-wing propaganda. If he were, I don't know, say a Muslim, we would call this terrorism. If we found out that somebody in literally any other country in the world was going to do this, we would call it terrorism. But when white males, right-wing white males in the United States do this, we don't call it terrorism. We don't charge them with terrorism. But make no mistake about it, what this man did, what he wanted to do, what he was planning on doing is 100% the definition of terrorism. He wanted to go down in history. He wanted to become a martyr for the cause. He wanted to kill as many people in as little time as possible so that everyone throughout history would remember his name as one of the worst murderers in the United States. And he wanted to take out the political enemies of Donald Trump. Right-wing extremism is a major threat to our national security. And those are not my words. Those are the words of the FBI and the CIA. They have repeatedly been telling us that for years. The problem is not getting better, it is getting worse. As this country does become more polarized, more divided, more things like this keep cropping up. You know, the guy sending the bombs to people from CNN, his van covered in all those Republican stickers. We have to do better as a country. We're seeing these people who are mentally unstable get their hands on weaponry that they should not be able to get their hands on. You know, the red flags, the warning signs were all there in these cases, yet we failed as a country to stop them from, at least in some part, getting to the planning stages of their attack. Luckily, this Coast Guard lieutenant was caught before he was ever able to do some of this stuff. But it shouldn't have even been able to get that far. He should not have had the means to even be able to plan this or the weapons to attempt to carry it out. That's where the failures in the system occurred. And those are the failures that we have to correct.